Backend. Ever wondered why your bank account doesn't just forget you have money? When you're scrolling through an app, you're interacting with the front end, the digital paint on the walls. It's pretty, it's shiny, and it's a total lie. The front end is just a puppet. The real puppet master is the back end, a chaotic, 24/7 digital basement where the actual work happens. Think of the front end as a flashy restaurant dining room and the back end as the kitchen where the chef is screaming, the dishwasher is overflowing, and there's a small fire in the corner that everyone is pretending not to notice. In this video, we are descending into the abyss. We're going to look at how data is moved, stored, and protected by systems that are basically just rocks we've tricked into thinking by using trapped lightning. If you've ever clicked Order Now and wondered how a server in Virginia knows you just bought a life-sized cardboard cutout of a llama at 3 a.m., you're in the right place. We're peeling back the UI to see the wires, the logic, and the obscure spooky code that keeps the modern world from collapsing into a pile of 404 errors. We're going from the ground up, starting with the basic conversation between your device and the void. The client-server speed date. To understand the backend, you have to understand the most awkward relationship in tech, the client and the server. Your phone or laptop is the client, a needy, hungry customer constantly demanding things. The server is a giant, invisible kitchen. When you click a link, your client sends a request. This isn't a polite suggestion, it's a digital packet of data saying, "Hey, give me the profile picture for user llamalova99 right now." The server receives this, checks its rules, and decides if you're actually allowed to see it. This interaction is called the request-response cycle. It happens billions of times a second across the globe. If the server likes you, it sends back a response with the data. If it doesn't, maybe you aren't logged in or you're trying to access the Pentagon's secret lunch menu, it sends back an error. It's a high-speed, digital speed date that lasts milliseconds. If the connection is slow, it's like the server is ghosting you. You're left staring at a spinning loading circle, which is basically the typing bubble of the internet, while the server decides if you're worth the effort or if its hardware is currently too busy melting. The language of the abyss. Servers don't speak English, they speak in logic gates and existential dread. To bridge the gap, we use back-end languages. You've probably heard of the big three: Python, JavaScript, specifically Node.js, and Ruby. Python is the cool older brother who is great at math but sometimes a bit slow. JavaScript is the hyperactive kid who was originally meant to just make buttons glow but somehow ended up running half the world's servers. Then there's Java, not to be confused with JavaScript, which is the corporate suite of languages, reliable, heavy, and slightly soul-crushing. Choosing a language is like picking a specific flavor of magic to animate the inanimate. Some languages are built for speed, others for safety. For example, C++ is like driving a Formula 1 car without a seatbelt. It's incredibly fast, but if you make one typo, the whole thing explodes. Most modern developers prefer languages that won't punish a minor mistake with a total system meltdown. These languages allow us to write instructions that tell the server how to handle your llama photo requests without the physical hardware actually catching fire. It's the art of giving a rock a personality and hoping it doesn't decide to quit its job mid-transaction. Frameworks. The lazy genius tool. Writing raw back-end code from scratch is a special kind of masochism. It's like trying to build a car by first mining the iron ore. That's why we use frameworks like Express, Django, or Ruby on Rails. A framework is essentially a business in a box. It provides the skeleton, the plumbing, and the electrical wiring, so the developer only has to worry about the wallpaper. Imagine you're building a haunted house. You could spend years carving every floorboard by hand, or you could buy a standard haunted house kit that already comes with the creaky doors and the hidden mirrors. Frameworks handle the boring stuff: how to route a URL, how to handle security, and how to keep the server from crashing when 10,000 people click the same button at once. They are the lazy genius tools that allow a single developer to do the work that used to take a whole floor of engineers in the 90s. Without frameworks, the internet would be about 90% smaller and 100% more broken. They turn a mountain of complex logic into a manageable set of instructions, ensuring the kitchen stays organized even when the orders are flying in. The database, the infinite filing cabinet. The backend needs a memory, and it's usually much better than yours. Enter the database. Whether it's SQL, the organized spreadsheet-loving accountant, or NoSQL, the just throw it in a pile artist, the database stores every piece of info. Your username, your hashed password, and yes, every embarrassing late-night purchase you've ever made. It is a digital filing cabinet that never sleeps, never blinks, and never forgets. Think of it like this. The server is the brain, but the database is the long-term memory. When you log into a site, the server asks the database, "Hey, does this guy's password match the one we have from 2018? The database scans billions of rows of data in a fraction of a second and whispers back the answer. Some databases, like PostgreSQL, are incredibly rigid. If the data isn't perfect, they reject it. Others, like MongoDB, are more vibes-based. They'll take whatever data you give them, even if it's a mess. Just remember, once your data enters the database, it's basically written in digital stone. It's the ultimate record of your digital existence, guarded by a very strict, very fast librarian who never takes a coffee break. APIs. The digital handshake. An API, application programming interface, is the contract of the internet. If the backend is the kitchen, the API is the waiter. You don't walk into a kitchen and start grabbing pans. You look at the menu and tell the waiter what you want. The waiter, the API, takes your order to the chef, makes sure you're not asking for something impossible, like a steak made of unicorn meat, and brings the food back to your table. APIs allow different systems to talk to each other without knowing how the other works. It's how your weather app knows the temperature without owning a single thermometer. It just pings an API owned by a weather station. This is often done using a style called REST. When a developer says they're building a RESTful API, they just mean they're making a menu that is easy for other computers to read. If you send a request that isn't on the menu, the API throws a 400 bad request or a 403 forbidden tantrum and refuses to help you. It's the invisible glue that holds the modern web together, allowing your fitness tracker to talk to your phone, which then talks to your insurance company. The cloud, other people's computers. The cloud is perhaps the greatest marketing trick in history. It sounds like a magical, ethereal place where data floats on raindrops. In reality, it's just a massive, windowless warehouse in a desert filled with other people's computers. Instead of buying a physical server that might catch fire in your closet or get peed on by your cat, you rent a tiny slice of a giant superbrain from companies like AWS, Amazon, Google Cloud, or Azure. These warehouses are filled with rows and rows of blinking lights and cooling fans. When you upload to the cloud, you're just sending your files to a computer in Northern Virginia. The beauty of the cloud is scalability. If your website suddenly goes viral because a celebrity tweeted about your llama cutouts, the cloud can automatically spin up 100 more virtual computers to handle the traffic. Once the hype dies down, it kills those extra computers, so you stop paying for them. It's the ultimate pay-as-you-go system for digital power, ensuring you never have to worry about your basement flooding and taking the whole internet with it. The unsung hero front end. At the end of the day, the front end gets all the glory because it's what people can see and touch. It's the celebrity on the red carpet. But the back end is the entire security team, the limo driver, the tailor, and the person holding the clipboard. It is dark, it is complex, and it is the only reason the modern world functions. Without the back end, the internet is just a collection of very expensive, non-functional pictures. We've covered the languages, the servers, the databases, and the invisible handshakes that happen every time you refresh your feed. You now know more about the internet's basement than 99% of the people using it. So, the next time a website actually works perfectly, take a second to thank the exhausted backend developer who wrote the code that kept the lightning-filled rocks from losing your data. The backend isn't just code, it's the hidden infrastructure of our lives. Now, stop watching this and go build something, or at least go check if your database is currently on fire. Thanks for watching, and stay intrigued.